Absolutely. I think that's a very important point that you're bringing up. Why didn't we do it earlier? This was a proposal that first came up in the previous century and then was shot down because of petty politics and excuses being given. Let's look at the larger implication. We will soon be the third largest economy in a couple of years' time. Not a single port of ours is there in the top 35 ports globally. Even after this port comes up, it'll probably be the sixth largest port as per today's ranking. And which are the top five? Out of the top five, the four are Chinese and one is Singaporean. So you can imagine that if we would like to, if we have the ambitions to be one of the largest economies in the world, or the top three economies in the world, clearly we would need an enormous amount of port capacity. Fortunately, we are blessed with a very strategic location. As Commodore Singh was mentioning, we obviously are significantly dependent on the oceans. But also that is an advantage for us because both on the eastern side and the western side, we control a significant portion of global trade. If only we develop the infrastructure. We are already hearing murmurs from those who set up their manufacturing in India, moving away from China, that the infrastructure is not good enough in spite of the frantic build-up of infrastructure in the last 10 years. So clearly, we should have started much earlier than last 10 years. And these are lost time that we have not built up these infrastructure, and that is showing up as a bottleneck right now. Also, if we set up this port, do keep in mind that we've got another port that India owns in the Middle East, which is the Chabar port, which is being significantly not used. It is minimally being used. So once this port comes up and the other ports start functioning to the design that they have been made, then because of the international north-south transportation corridor which goes through Chabar, the Chabar port will also start becoming significantly more functional than what it is now. Mm-hmm. So it is just Maharashtra we are talking about. We are talking about India's spread across the geography that we would like to have our influence on. Also, the other point is that once we put up such large infrastructure, keep in mind that with a 21-meter draft, this is one of the deepest ports we have. The other one is a Gangavaram port, but that's about it. Other ports globally have much deeper draft, and what that really means is that with a deeper draft, we can have much bigger vessels coming in.
Yeah.
And if much bigger vessels come in, then you can bring in raw materials at a much cheaper cost without doing transshipments. And therefore, one can actually set up a large amount of manufacturing around the port itself. And so the port towns that you are mentioning should also be catering to manufacturing facilities. Unfortunately, in India, for some strange reason, we treat manufacturing and commercial activities as second-class citizens. We don't provide them with as good a connectivity, as good roads, as good drainage as we provide for human habitat. I don't know really why, but they are really the engines of growth. If you go to any of the industrial places, the roads and stuff are quite broken down. So I hope as this port comes up, the focus on the manufacturing part of the port becomes as much of is taken up with the same alacrity as the port itself, because you can bring in cheap raw materials, quickly process it, and then send it back out, becoming one of the economic giants.